pleasure to welcome into the homegrown studio tonight the legendary Jimmy Cavallo and
Cavallo. Cavallo.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you're thinking of Joe Carollo.
Joke. Jimmy, it's good to have you here.
Good
man.
friend of mine. Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
I think
Great
it
to
was
be here.
you've done the homegrown show two or three
years ago.
times before. How you?
Yeah,
how-
with Stan Colella, I think.
yeah, with Stan that one time.
Right,
How
right.
you doing? How you feeling? You feeling good? And,
I feel great. 39 and pushing.
yeah.
I just turned 72.
I want to play something for you. We're going to spend some time reminiscing with you tonight and all the gentlemen that are in the House Rockers. And I guess we got the original.
We got the
almost
original Syracuse version of the House Rockers.
All right.
This is the second wave House Rockers. The first wave was during the Alan Freed time, during the 50s.
Way back with Ellen Freed.
These are the 60s guys.
The younger boys when you
Yeah,
brought them
yeah.
in. This gentleman right here, Jimmy, I want you to listen to this. It's kind of like This Is Your Life kind of thing with Jimmy tonight. But there was a gentleman that plays the keyboards with Charlie Daniels.
Okay.
His name is Taz DiGregorio. And I got a chance to talk to Taz at the State Fair last year. And I asked him to reminisce about coming to Syracuse. And this is what he told me. I want you to listen to this.
Did some shows up there with John Hammond Jr. and Marshall Tucker Band and us. As a matter of fact, I worked Syracuse. I worked the Little Brown Jug in Syracuse about 1960-something. Sylvan Beach, yeah, played Sylvan Beach. Got to meet Jimmy Cavallo.
Sure, yeah.
From the was it House Rockers? Jimmy Cavallo and the House Rockers?
Yeah.
You know, they just inducted him into the Syracuse Hall of Fame. He's still playing.
Is he really? He was a hot sax player, hot sax player.
There you go.
All right.
You're known far and wide, Jimmy.
Yeah, now you notice how he said Cavallo?
I know, he said it properly,
right.
didn't he?
Now,
Jimmy
you know,
Cavallo.
that goes back to Alan Freed. Now, Alan, being a Mexican instead of an Italian, could not pronounce the Italian version. You got to do the A's. Cavallo.
Cavallo.
Think of the coffee, Cavallo.
Cavallo.
So he couldn't pronounce the A's. So, and here he is on WINS. He did the rock and roll show in New York
Yeah,
City.
right, Alan Freed.
And here he is from our latest movie, Rock, 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 Jimmy Cavallo and the House Rockers. So half my records out there say Cavello.
Yeah.
And then the bootleg ones that came out later has got the correct spelling.
That's wild.
And he didn't. He sounded like Alan on that.
I ask
Cavallo.
you, Alan Freed was the guy generally noted for coining the term rock and roll.
Right.
You were telling me off the air, though, that that might be, Alan might have got the glory for that, but that term was used.
It was used
before.
over and over in the late 40s. I first came into it in 1948, North Carolina, and I started sneaking into the black clubs.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And they were playing the typical rhythm and blues, the Stormy Monday, the Going to the River, and this type of thing.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to some of the Southern blues bands at the time. We had Amos Milburn, we had Louis Jordan, we had Joe Liggins and the Honey Drippers, we had Wynonie Harris, who I took my blues singing from. And this is all before Elvis and before Bill. They weren't even around.
Before Bill Haley.
Yeah, and so I started listening to this rhythm and blues thing, and every other song, come on everybody, gonna rock and roll tonight.
Yeah.
Hey baby, meet me down the corner, we're gonna rock and roll, we're gonna roll and rock. Well, that was used throughout every rhythm and blues tune during the 40s.
Yeah.
And Alan took the phrase rock and roll out of those songs and called it a new music. He called it, this is rock and roll.
So Alan got in the history books for that.
For that,
Yeah.
he became the daddy of rock and roll because he coined the phrase. He named it a music. He called it was rhythm and blues, and then he called it rock and roll one time, and it stuck.
We're going to talk to Jimmy tonight about his movie career, also, that infamous movie
Freddie,
career.
Yeah, Freddie said it's a great movie. Yeah. Freddie likes it. Plays it over and over and over, right, Fred? Like Tuesday Weld, 14 years old.
Hey, tell us who's playing with you tonight here. What's your name, all the boys? What they play?
I got my favorite people here.
All right.
Years ago, I called them the delinquents because they were young and boisterous, and now they're old and boisterous. Now we got John. Actually, we got almost the entire group except for Tony. Tony
Licamelli, who's out of state,
yeah.
right?
We got John Latosha, of
On
course.
guitar.
Excellent, excellent. We've got Chuck Segroy,
On bass.
my bottom guy.
Mr.
And,
Chuck.
and taking Tony Licamelli's place and doing a great job. We did last Friday at Freddy's, and it was super. Dick Howard.
On drums.
And my favorite saxophone player when I come up to Syracuse, 9 times out of 10 we get him, Mr. John Kane.
All right.
Okay?
John, good to have you. And we're going to talk to all these gentlemen tonight as we go through. You geared up to do a live one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're ready.
All right.
to kick.
We're
They're
here.
to
We're
go.
ready.
Now this is, I was asking you before you came on the air tonight, the last time you remember playing live on the radio was when? With Freed?
With Alan Freed.
With Alan Freed.
You got a minute for the story?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay. We went down to New York for auditions. We wanted to get on a record label at the time, and I think it was had to be 56 or 57 is when the movie came out. So it was about that time period. So we went to New York. We went to NOLA Studios, and there were 20, 30 groups
Right.
trying out, and there were 8, 12, 13 record producers. Atlantic was there, Atco, Decca, Coral.
All the big shots
Yeah,
were there.
all there. They all had representatives. And this one guy, Jack Hook, was representing Alan Freed. Now, Alan was very hot at the time with WINS, and he had the rock and roll thing, and he had the Brooklyn Paramount thing going. And so Jack Hook was representing Alan and Coral Records, which Alan had a piece of.
Okay.
And Coral is a subsidiary of Decca at the time. Anyway, we're all doing our thing. I was doing some kind of a blues thing. I wanted to get on Atlantic because Bobby Darin was on Atco, which was the same, and Bobby was a very good friend, you know. And so we're doing it back and forth. So Jack Hook approaches us and says, look, he says, you know, I want to bring you downtown to the studio. I want Alan Freed to hear you. I says, the whole, so we jumped in the cabs. We went
Right.
down, instruments like this. We went into the studio just like this.
Like a radio station, yep.
And Alan is playing, I'll say the Drifters or the Moonglows.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
doo-wah, doo-wah.
All those,
And,
yeah.
and then in between, he put the commercial on, and Jack said, I want you to hear this band, Alan. This is Jimmy Cavallo, blah, blah, blah. And we started.
So you were auditioning for free
We're
during the
playing-
commercial break?
Yeah, and
All
we're
right.
playing. And we're wailing, and then he goes, and we stop. Boom.
He stopped you.
And now we're going to have the Drifters and blah, 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 blah. And don't forget WINS, the rock and roll time. And then he goes, and we pick it up where we left off. It took us 20
that's
minutes to
funny.
get through one song. He said, great,
He dug the band.
dug it,
Yeah.
picked up the phone, called Coral Records right then, said, I'm sending a group over right now. I want you to sign them.
Is that right?
And that was it.
And you were signed.
Signed. The best I did during that time period was Cherry Pie. Went to number 10 on the Dick Clark show.
Yep.
And I appeared on that show as well. And I did the Brooklyn Paramount with Fats Domino, Joe Turner.
Now, how about the Apollo?
The Apollo, I was there's been
Now, I heard a story.
there's
Now,
been a controversy.
whether it was you
Or
or
Buddy
Buddy
Holly.
Holly,
Right.
was booked originally as the first white entertainer at the Apollo.
Right, and it's a quarter of the time. It was the same year. Now, I appeared, I think, in September, and Buddy appeared maybe in July.
Okay.
Or I appeared in July, he appeared in September. So there's always been a controversy on that. But I've gone down as being the first white rock group to play the Apollo. I
Wow.
did 10 days there, and they wanted to augment me, so I have Sam the Man Taylor,
Yeah.
Al Sears. I got half a Basie's band and half a Duke's band in back of me, and the House Rockerz, we were all within that band. And I think the greatest thrill about playing the Apollo, I did amateur night with the Hook.
With the hook, with
Yeah,
the big
yeah.
cane, the big
Yeah,
cane
we
would
did.
come out. Yeah.
The guy
yeah.
come, and all the amateurs there.
Well, you know, the Apollo at that time, fill us in for those who might not know or might be too young to remember, the Apollo was, if you played the Apollo in New York City, you were there, right?
You were made.
Yeah.
you were made. What happened with me is the movie came out at the same time, Rock. Alan, of course, put me in the movie, and there was a movie theater right next to the Apollo. So they wanted to capitalize on that. So they had Connie Francis and Tuesday Weld, Jimmy
All the
Cavallo and the House Rockerz.
Oh, yeah.
That's all on the marquee. So then they put me on the Apollo bill with Sugar and Spice, Pig Meat Markham, myself, a couple other acts, and Sam the Man Taylor's big band, which he had half of Basie's guys and half of Duke's because they were out of work and they jump in and do their thing.
Yeah.
The big thrill was playing Flying Home with that big band on those boards,
Ooh,
the Apollo
yeah.
boards where Illinois Jack Cat and all the great cats did
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And as far as I know, there's still the controversy.
You know, when you get right down to it, isn't that the thing that's made the career successful to you, when you can look back and have all those
Oh, I got great
memories?
memories.
Yeah.
You see, I never got the hit record, okay? I got to number 10 with Cherry Pie. You remember that song?
I remember Cherry Pie.
Okay. It
Made
was
it-
kicking around for years.
Yeah.
It was a throwaway.
Number 10 in Billboard, right?
Right.
Number 10.
Skip and flip.
Yep. They
grabbed it
and that
from
stuff
me
was
and they
yeah.
put strings to it.
That still goes on
And
today
they
in the
got a
record
big
business.
hit. They got a
Yeah.
big hit out of it. So,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of covers going on at that time. You know, who was covering who. So they heard something I did. Bill Haley, here's a story for you. I'm playing Wildwood, New Jersey with the Treniers. Bill Haley comes in one night. He's sitting right dead in front. Okay, he's checking me out, and we did a lot of Ray Charles in those days. So I did I Got a Woman Way Over Town.
Yeah, Me and Woman
Good to
Blues.
me, right? And I changed the ending to that from what Ray did. And Bill's there and going like this, you know, with the pencil.
Yeah.
And we were good friends. About 2 months later, he comes out with another album. He's got I Got a Woman on there, and
Yeah.
it's my ending, not
What a
Ray's
business.
ending.
What a business.
It's
I'll
my
tell
because
you.
I changed the ending,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
to suit me.
Yeah, that's great.
And that went on over and over and over.
Sharing stories tonight with Jimmy Cavallo, and the House Rockerz are in the studio with us. I think we're going to do some live stuff. We'll make some historical
Great.
radio here. What do you say?
All right.
What are you going to do for us?
We'll do Red Top, which is a jazz blues tune recorded by Gene Ammons many, many years ago. So all tenor saxophone players out there know this song.
All
Okay?
right.
Gene was one of the great tenor men of all time called the Jug. So this is Red Top.
Eric, introduce these guys, Eric. Introduce them one time so we get it
Yeah,
on deck.
Jimmy Cavallo and all the House Rockers with Chuck Segroy, John Latosha, John Kane, Dick Howard on drums. Oh, boys.
Here they go. Live on Homegrown. too.
Live, you heard it.